Hello, everyone. The one called fate knocks at your door. Blah, blah, blah. It's Hunt back with another episode of Tabletop Recap. We also have a couple guests here today. No big boy Chungus. He's dead again. Once again, he has. It was a painful death. It was a long death, but it was also unnecessary death. Absolutely, it's true.
After this week, yes.
He held us back.
Did he?
No, I'm just kidding. Obviously. No, he's just not here today is all. But we do have the god that fell from grace, and that is Ace, Kami.
Thank you, sir.
And the person being mentioned last, simply because she's a woman, Karen, the manager slayer.
I hate when you say that.
Here, let me try again. And the person whose name is a slur, Karen, the manager
I
slayer.
don't like that one either. You're so mean. I will admit, I thought about cutting you off when you were starting and saying the intro for you.
Gonna femsplain it for me?
Exactly.
And I would be like, I'm sorry, Karen, but I know what pack tactics are.
I'm sorry, Karen, but I am the manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
But today we are talking about the Godzilla card game.
Yay.
Finally.
Y'all know I'm a big kaiju boy. And,
No, literally, he's a big boy. He's a kaiju. He's literally just a big kaiju boy.
yeah, I'm Shin Godzilla Form 5.
Oh,
People who aren't kaiju fans are listening to this episode like, what are they talking about? What are they doing?
I was about to say.
Yeah.
If you enjoy good movies, go watch Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You don't have to be a kaiju fan.
My co-hosts here aren't kaiju fans, and they love Shin Godzilla.
I've watched Shin Godzilla twice on my own since you showed it to me, 4 months ago?
Yeah, it's a great film.
I love that movie. Anyways.
But yeah, so today we're talking about Godzilla card game. Not Godzilla the card game. Godzilla card game, which is the title. From the Chrono Clash system, which is the same system that Boruto card game is in, except this is like from a better franchise.
Yeah.
I mean,
You just
arguably.
lost all your subs.
Yeah, only weeaboos listen to this. They're like, I'm out. One of our co-hosts was actually telling me the other day, he was like, hey, do you guys watch Boruto? And I was like, no, I watched several episodes on Toonami in order. I watched like the first 12 and they were all terrible. And he was like, after episode 50, it gets good. It's a good show. And I was like, if it takes 50 episodes to get good, it's not a good show, my dude.
Way too much investment. I've got a 3-episode rule. If you haven't got me in the first 3 episodes, you need to reevaluate your choices.
Yeah. I have a similar one, but mine's 5. Yeah.
That's generous.
Yeah, it's a little generous. But back to the card game. Sorry, we had to lose subscribers for a sec.
Yeah, the superior card game. There's the rest of your subscribers.
Oh, yeah. Screw Magic the Gathering. I only play Chrono Clash.
Yeah, there they go. Buy subscribers.
But yeah, it's a very interesting system. So Godzilla card game, I hate that there's no "the" in there. But
Just draw one in with a Sharpie.
I'll just doodle it in. Godzilla, I'm just going to say Godzilla, the card game.
Yeah.
Godzilla, the card game is from Japan, believe it or not.
That's why they don't have a D in there.
Yeah, and in Japan, it's like Magic or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you buy the booster packs and you get all the cards and you got different shiny cards and stuff. Like you can get gold cards. But here in America,
Good old USA.
the United States, we just get a box set, which I kind of prefer, you know?
Yeah, you know what you're going to get. You got all that you need to work with.
You just pay the $50 and then you get 4 decks.
Yeah. It's also nice when you're learning it. And it's like, you don't know all the cards, so you don't know the synergy of all the decks and stuff. So this is a really good way of getting into it. I really liked it.
Yeah, we're talking about set GZ01, which is the main set.
Oh, okay.
So there will be expansions when new cards come out in Japan and then come over here.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll have more decks and cards and stuff.
I assume there'll just be a delay as they compile them into bigger sets.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
But we were talking about just getting the cards because it's mostly symbol based.
Yeah.
Symbols and numbers.
Just doing like a draft tournament.
I think that'd be fantastic.
I would do it. You guys know I would probably afterwards, if you didn't want your cards, I'd probably buy them off you. Because you know me, I have multiple sets of complete Godzilla trading cards from Japan and stuff too. So like them, like the kinds that are for collecting, not for playing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a big Godzilla guy. It's my whole life, all of it.
The good and the bad.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Now let's talk about the game, which we've already been doing. We didn't even roll for initiative. We were supposed to. We just got excited.
Oh no.
Karen's not going first.
Karen crit failed. I'm sorry, Karen, but you have to give us your address. That's the rule.
No, because Kami does not want that to go out.
Fine.
So what
But
do you guys
I
roll?
rolled a 6 and you rolled a 17. So how about you tell us the basic rules, Kami?
Oh gosh.
Just real basic, not how to. You don't have to give us a how to play YouTube tutorial. Just real basic how the game works.
Well, none of us had ever played the Chrono Clash system up till today. And I tell you what, I think it might be my new favorite trading card game system.
It's fantastic.
The idea being that time is your resource, and that once you run out of time, whatever excess time you've used beyond what you're allocated goes to your opponent effectively.
Yeah.
So
it's not. It's like you don't have phases like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or something. You just do whatever you want
until you run out of time.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then whatever you overspend, your opponent gets to use as extra time on his turn effectively.
Yeah, so say you have 3 time and you play a card that's cost is 6, then your opponent gets 3 time.
Yeah. So that's a fantastic way to kind of keep things balanced and add a new interesting mechanic about, should I play this card now? Should I give him that much time to work with on his next turn, and vice versa? But there's only 3 basic types of cards. You've got your battlers, which have a power and hold down your field like any standard monster card. An action card, which is effectively just a magic or trap card from Yu-Gi-Oh, or a spell or enchantment from Magic.
Yeah.
And then you've got your EX cards, which are your big boy battlers.
Yeah, I think for the Western release and stuff, for this box set, because this box set is kind of an international box set. They kind of planned for this game to be international, which is why the effects are all symbol based and they don't just say the thing on the card. But yeah, you got rules for several countries in here. And what was I going to say?
I don't know. I'm not inside of your head, thankfully.
You were saying something about the EX cards and for the
Oh yeah,
American release.
I think the EX cards are just normal sized cards in Japan.
Because they're ginormous.
Yeah, they're
set.
Big old boys.
You know when your opponent has an EX card.
Because it's just a giant red card, and in their hand those tiny blue cards.
You can't forget. I just leave mine face down because it just ruins my ability to fan out the cards.
I hold them because I'll forget about them if I have them face
You want
down.
to be super intimidating with that one card in the center of your
You
hand.
can just peek over it. Just watch them through the card.
Hide your poker face if you've got a bad one.
But yeah, those are the 3 types of cards.
The objective is you win in one of 3 different ways. Either you destroy all of your opponent's Guardian cards, which are randomly selected at the beginning of the game, and nobody knows what those Guardian cards are.
It's kind of like the prize cards from Pokemon a little bit.
Yes.
Yep. Or potentially your opponent can't draw a card on his turn if his deck is completely torn through.
All trading cards have the deck out rule, basically.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other is the quest system, which we did not use at all in our first preliminary things. And I think that's a nuance that just takes some time to get used to. But you can send your battlers on a quest. So you tap them effectively. You cover them with their own separate Guardian card. And at the beginning of your next turn, if that Guardian card is still on them, you get a quest point.
Yeah.
Yay! 5 quest points and you win.
That kind of forces your opponent to target that instead of your
Guardian stack.
Guardians, yeah.
But that's kind of the basics of it. There's a lot of other nuance, but I'll let somebody else kind of get into the symbols and how all that stuff works.
Yeah, there are several different symbols, and each symbols mean like a different word. Like there's a symbol for this effect is permanent. There's a symbol for it's on your opponent's card and not on your card. And there are symbols for like, oh, this card has haste or whatever it's called in Magic where you don't tap.
Yeah.
This card has a dumbbell on it, which means you can put a card under it that takes the damage for it. Several different I'm not going to go through all this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of symbols.
We thought that was going to be the hardest thing to learn, and it kind of was.
But after about 2 or 3 matches,
we picked it up really quickly.
it's self-explanatory once you figure out that there is a system there. Somebody did take a lot of time to make it pretty easy to pick up.
And I think that's kind of one of the benefits of the pre-made stacks too, because I feel like the one deck I was dealing with had a lot of the same symbols, so I got used to it really quick. And then you were playing with a deck that had like a lot of the same stuff. The toughness was big in the one deck you were using. So.
Yeah, because there are 4 decks. One is like kind of a Godzilla-y, earthy monster deck, but also with Destroya in it for some reason and Gigan.
Because why not?
Because why not? And then there was basically like a Shin Godzilla, kind of more like villainy deck almost. And then there was a mecha deck, like a Mecha Godzilla deck with Mogera and, stuff like that. And then you had the Mothra Ghidorah deck.
My boy!
But that was kind of a tough deck. Rainbow Mothra is quite the card.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, right off the bat, you were really kicking butt with Rainbow Mothra.
I gave up that lead pretty quickly.
But I think you should say some stuff about the art, Karen, since we're mansplaining everything and you're not saying much.
Well, I was just letting you guys... I played one match. You guys played a
We
bunch
played
more.
several, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of like, these are a lot of symbols.
We played 3 against each other.
Yeah, 2 out of 3. Call me Victor.
Yeah, except
So
for
call
against,
me Victor.
Except for against
Hi,
me.
my name's Victor.
No.
Victor Stone?
Oh, no.
Cyborg.
Oh, no.
My dad doesn't
favorite.
love me.
What is this?
Too close to home is what this is.
This is an extra nerdy version of the podcast. Lots of weird
How many
references.
references can we get in here?
Yeah.
We gotta get like some Game of Thrones references if we want any traction.
Quick, say everything quotable. Just go.
L'chaim.
That's just you.
Fine.
So the artwork in this game is beautiful, I will say. And yeah, like you said earlier, not a big kaiju fan, but I really appreciate the art. I also appreciate having an encyclopedia that knows all about the kaiju to explain all of it to me. Because I'm like, oh, this one's so cute. And then you can give me the backstory behind it. It's really great.
A nice detail is that they included the year for the monster as well on the
Yes.
card.
Yeah, to kind of separate them up. And I think that's the key so that you can have like a Mothra from like one of the 60s movies, right? You can have a Mothra from like the 60s, and then you can have a Mothra from the 90s as well.
Because the abilities change, is my understanding. There's no really good continuous stream of Godzilla.
But it's like
always
Pokemon.
has.
If they had the same name, you could only have a certain number in the deck.
Mhm.
So they had to keep the names separate.
The art is beautiful, though.
Yeah, and then you guys were like, oh, what's Rodan 1956? And I'm like, oh, that's the original Rodan film. Technically not a Godzilla film. It's his solo film. They
But
should
they own the
remake it
rights.
because it's really good and I love it.
Gosh.
See, I like that, though. I like that there's, like... It makes you, like... Because there's the one card of... It looks like Godzilla's sitting down, shooting his laser into the ground. But then I played it, and you explained, you're like, actually, let me tell you about this card. And it's not him sitting, it's him flying with his lasers.
Classic scene.
I tell you what, if you don't have a kaiju friend in your friend group, then you'll still enjoy the game. But if you do have a kaiju friend, bring him in. It makes it so much more fun to hear the explanations.
Yeah, this and the board game are the same game. So if you're more of a weeb, you can get the one with the different theme. But Godzilla's live action, which means I'm not a weeb. Godzilla, Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Garo. It's all live action. I'm not a weeb, right, guys? I need validation. Please tell me I'm not a weeb.
We need to discuss what justifies weeb status.
No.
The whole podcast based on it.
If we have that discussion, I'll be a weeb.
Because let's be real, all that live action stuff probably fed into all the anime tropey weebiness so you might be like the most weeb of weeb.
My wife who's coming to Laifu.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, another fun thing about the art is that it's all original artwork, and they didn't have to do that.
Like in other games.
Yeah, because if you look at the Dragon Ball Super trading card game, which is fun, but not as fun as this game, and I do play that with Big Boy Chungus, most of the cards, except for the really high rarity ones, are just screenshots from the shows and video games and stuff. And that's
Hopefully the Blu-ray versions of that, because some
Yeah.
of the televised versions are awful to look at.
yeah, so it's just screenshots. But that's lazy and cheap. And this game didn't do that for a single card. All the art looks really cool. I think my favorite art was probably the Orga EX card. That thing is terrifying.
It's
Yeah.
awesome, though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely just look up the card list because the art's gorgeous. Do you guys have favorite arts?
The baby Godzilla, of course.
Which baby Godzilla?
The baby one that you kept playing a lot.
Oh, the little Godzilla.
Little Godzilla was so cute.
You refused to attack it because it was too cute?
Yeah.
There was a Ghidorah one that was black, gray, and red.
Des Ghidorah.
Thank you.
Ghidorah.
That one was... I loved the art on that. It was so cool.
I need that action figure. It's way too expensive.
Oh,
And there's only like one figure of it in the scale I want. So.
oh, I can only imagine what that costs.
yeah. But it's great. If you get the box set GZ01, it comes with 4 decks, how to play in multiple languages, 4 play mats, which were really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with 4 decks, including all the EX cards you need. And then there are 2 tournament packs in here. Like when you go to tournaments, you can get special tournament packs.
Yeah.
And each tournament pack has a random foil card in it. And I pulled foil Aquamothra and foil Acid Breath or Sap Breath, whatever Biolante's attack is. I don't know. She was in one film. Give me a break.
You're not a real kaiju fan, are you?
No! Never say that to me again. I'll cry.
That is your identity.
That is-
I'm sorry.
I base my entire personality off kaiju because I am not interesting.
I don't know. I think you are.
Oh,
In all the worst kinds of ways.
Oh.
I'll take it.
I'm kidding. I love you, man.
Better than basing my personality on The Office or Parks and Rec or something.
Or just our Team 4-star references.
Yeah, that's what you guys do.
I know.
That's you guys.
I'm self-aware.
We used to be that way, and they called it quits. Which, whatever. We're not going to talk about it. Podcast for another day.
But yeah, you guys said you actually liked this more than other trading card games.
Oh yeah. Well, with the thing I have about Magic is if you don't pull enough land in the beginning, or you don't pull anything to stop people from attacking you, you're gonna sit there and you're just gonna lose miserably. In this, it's never like, oh no, I pulled too much of one thing. It is, you can always play, and it's always going to be an interesting game, I feel like.
Time as a resource going back and forth is, I think, way more consistent, I suppose, than lands and hoping you get the right mana or something like that.
Yeah, there's basically no turn where you can't play something, maybe shouldn't play something.
Unless you run out of cards.
Yeah, because I had this card in my hand like the whole time I was playing Karen that was like, tap 2 of her monsters. And I was like, they're always tapped. There's no point in playing this.
Yeah.
So I just had it in my hand and no other cards. And I was like, why play it and give her more time? You know?
Yeah.
And on the first turn, you could play your biggest monster. And you could play a 10-cost monster on the first turn. Just know that your opponent is probably going to hit you with 2 massive monsters in return.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the cool part is, like, do I play a lot of little stuff to, like, barely inch it over the time thing? Because it goes to 10 time on either side. So as soon as you cross over, that's the end of your turn. Because of how whatever this system is called.
Chrono Clash.
Chrono Clash. That's just how it works. So it's like, I feel like I played a lot of, like, the 6-cost stuff, so I'd leave Hunt with a lot of, like, time, and then he would give me very little, so I had to be very smart about...
I was really good at giving you very little time.
Yeah,
and you still beat me.
But I had, like, stuff that would only cost 2, so I'd have just enough to, like, attack on my turn or do a little something extra before giving it over. So I thought that was very interesting. It's like, oh, they're not giving you a lot of time. You got to play small stuff or just go all out.
I thought it was interesting that the moment you play big, you're going to escalate the game hugely.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you play big, you give your opponent the opportunity to play big. And it almost felt like the first person to go big was setting themselves up for a disadvantage.
Yeah, I felt like that too.
Like you wanted to bide your time and kind of Super Saiyan the battle out and only increase incrementally.
I want to fight them at their full power, even though the world is at stake.
I'm going to start off small. I'm not going to go Super Saiyan. I want to see how good he is without going Super.
I feel like this is a DBZ like bash sesh.
Once you got it on the brain, you kind of tend to.
You've been very harsh to anime this whole podcast. We like anime, I swear.
We do.
On the internet, if you don't like anime, you're basically dirt, so I have to say that.
I'm like having an existential crisis about No My Hero Academia.
Oh.
2 more episodes left of the season at this filming.
Oh, we're waiting forever. Moving on, I think you guys should explain like the Guardian cards and like the big EX cards and why those are different.
So the EX cards, aside from being
huge.
Big old boys. Instead of using time to play them, you sacrifice your other monsters, and their cost adds up to that's cost or more, so you can play it. And then some of those cards are just they're all really good, but some of them are like
ludicrous.
Invincible. You get Super Mega Godzilla out,
game over.
It's game over. You
get 18 power or something like that.
You get Shin Godzilla the 4th form out, it's done.
Yeah.
The game is finished. Shin Godzilla the 4th form can attack like all 5 of your guardians in one turn.
And it has the highest power that we've seen in this entire set, so nothing will stop it.
And it makes your monster minus 18 power, which will kill any regular monster.
Yeah.
Anything that's not a Shin Godzilla 4th form.
Like, that card's too good, but it's Shin Godzilla, so like makes sense. It's like that card's as good as the movie. So,
you gotta be proportional there.
Yeah. That's why I was so glad there's like a whole Shin Godzilla deck in here. I was like, yes.
Well, and when we were trying to decide who would get which deck, he said a Shin Godzilla, and my head came up, and he said, no, don't even think about it.
That is my deck, and then I immediately let your wife use it. Well, that was after I'd used it a few times. You
beat my butt.
Next time we play, you can use the Shin Godzilla deck.
I don't want your Shin Godzilla. I want my Ghidorah Mothra deck.
That deck's good.
That's the one I want, because I love Mothra.
I love Ghidorah. So
we'll just do the draft thing, and you can build an all Mothra deck, and you can build an all Ghidorah.
I'm going to do it.
And then you'll still beat us, because you'll have Shin Godzilla.
And then I'll beat it, because my deck will actually be balanced, and yours will all just go one way.
You're right, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the cool things about this is that it builds the decks for you. You don't have to learn how to build a deck before you can ever play. You don't have to buy crappy starter decks. You can just go ahead and get decks that are already good.
You don't end up with like bulk in your thing as well, which is nice. The pre-made decks make it learnable without somebody there to hold your hand.
And they make it affordable too.
Yeah.
This set was $50. Got it from my local comic shop. They saved me a copy because they were like, we know you want this.
Yeah.
You buy every single Godzilla thing and have a special order Godzilla stuff for you all the time.
We're
We know you want this game. They saved me one. They were like, the whole thing sold out today. The first day I got them, they all sold out.
Oh, wow.
And
support your local comic shop, kids.
Yeah, he saved me one.
They're good people.
So glad I have this game.
I'm glad we finally got to play it. We tried for a couple of weekends and just kept missing the opportunity to do it.
I have had it since the week it came out. It's been forever.
Mm-hmm. We've tried the last couple of weekends, and I can't remember why we couldn't. It was like either
because I left it at Big Boy Chungus's house because I left a bunch of my games there because I always only played them there. And then you guys were like, bring some to our house, and I was like, okay. And I think we're just hanging out more often now here.
Yeah.
At your place.
I think, everything's settled out. Like, our lives have settled a little more. It's summer, so, everyone wants to hang out during summer.
Plus, the COVID stuff is starting to lighten up in this area a little bit.
This semester, I have less homework. I have a lot of work, but I have less, actual homework assignments because it's my last semester, so it's all, practicum and stuff.
Hallelujah.
But, it's summer. You want to hang out. That's how it works. Things are opening up. Now we can actually hang out, so it's great.
There's a Godzilla movie playing at the drive-thru. You guys want to go?
Ooh, which one?
Drive-thru theater in
Which Godzilla movie?
Destroy All Monsters, the big Avengers style crossover.
Oh my gosh!
I feel like before we did that, we'd have to watch the other ones first to appreciate the Avengers style crossover.
Nearly every monster on the front of the box from the Showa era is in it.
Okay.
This whole side of the box is in the movie.
It's an audio podcast, bro.
I know why you said that to me because I always say that to people. But I'm just saying, I'm telling that to you guys, not them. Nearly every Showa monster is in the movie from the 50s to 70s.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, you got me good. I hate you.
I've been waiting.
Oh, I know you have.
Oh Lord, but absolutely huge thumbs up from from Kami on the Chrono Clash system in general.
Yes.
I think it's probably my favorite of the card game systems. I've played plenty of Magic, I've played plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh! And plenty of Pokemon in my day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've played all those games as well.
Far more than I have.
Yeah, and I just like Chrono Clash so much more than the freaking
Magic and Pokemon.
phase-based is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. Because phase-based is like, you can only do this at this time, and after you do that, you can't do that. And this is like, do whatever you want in any order, but as soon as your time counter goes down,
That's your
Yeah.
it's your turn. And it's so freeing, and it's less stressful,
Yeah.
and it's harder to make a mistake.
But I feel like it also gives you more potential to like chain things in an interesting order as well, based
Yeah.
on what card abilities have.
Like when I played Burning Godzilla EX, and it
Yes.
attacked 2 of your Guardians.
Yeah.
And then I played that other card that untaps it, and
And
I
you get to do
attacked
it
2
again.
of your Guardians.
Yeah, and then all my Guardians were gone.
Yeah, at the end of our game, neither of us had Guardians, and we were just waiting to see who could attack the other first.
Yeah.
And you did, in fact, beat me. But,
I don't think you guys explained what Guardians are.
oh yeah, I'll let you explain Guardians.
I did mention that you draw them right off the bat, the first 5 cards, you place them face down, you have no idea what they are, and each time your opponent attacks a Guardian, it has to clear all 5 of these Guardian cards before it can attack you, the player.
Directly.
When you, the player, are attacked directly, you lose. That's it. So you don't know what the Guardian cards are. When they attack, you flip it over, and it's essentially an instant head-to-head. If you get an action card, some effect might happen. If it's a monster card, they duke it out, and the one with the higher power wins.
But the Guardian card
Always dies after
Yes.
that clash.
And there is a special, like, lots of cards have special Guardian abilities that you can only activate if they're the Guardian card. Like, when you attacked my Destroy a Guardian card today, and its ability was, the monster that attacked this cannot attack the rest of the game.
I know.
That was way too strong.
That's the kind of thing you don't want as a battler. You pray that it ends up as a Guardian.
Pray that's a Guardian.
And that was one of the cards that could attack 2 Guardians, but I only got to the first one, so it was out after
You would have beat
that.
me that turn if it wasn't for Destroya.
Yeah.
You would have beat me that turn because you would have got both the Guardians with that, and then your other monster would have attacked me directly.
Yeah. Which I like that though, because you don't know what's in the Guardian deck. You could have a bunch of low level stuff or a bunch of high level stuff.
It makes me think of that card game My Family Plays Palace.
Yes.
Like that.
Very much.
Which is a different card game we can discuss at a different time. But
I'll play that for the podcast. I'll play any tabletop game, honestly.
It's just
guys.
it's a 52 card deck card game.
Like Kalishnikov or whatever you want to
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
You gotta do that
I
too.
Yeah.
We should do just like a standard deck of cards like episode so that people can.
Oh, where we just talk about different
Because
standard
anybody
card
can
games,
play a
like
standard
DS
deck of
and
cards
everything.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Maybe a forthcoming episode. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe one day.
I like
We'll
it.
just sit down one day, play a bunch of different games.
Whenever we run out of D&D stuff to talk about, which will be never.
Yeah, I'm glad we're doing this episode because I'm getting sick of doing Dungeons and Dragons episodes.
Getting close to burnout, aren't you? There.
I am extremely close to burnout. We actually played D&D last night at Big Boy Chungus' place, and
Not us.
not you two. There's
Yeah.
the second group that I'm leaving because it's giving me burnout being in 2 groups. Freaking, yeah, I'm leaving that group, and I was like, I don't even feel like recording the post gameplay podcast. I was too tired, so we just watched Hulu.
Oh wow.
Hey.
We were too tired. It was late.
Any regular viewers or
And-
listeners might understand why.
And then they were making me run Rick and Morty a second time for them. So they're just metagaming through the whole thing with one new player who doesn't get to have the full experience because they're metagaming through rooms where they know there's traps and they're
That's no
walking they're
fun.
walking right past all the funny jokes. I know you're listening to this, Big Boy Chungus. I know you're listening to this.
Getting called out.
Woo!
They metagamed real hard in the beginning, but then towards the end they stopped. They even activated a trap on purpose that they knew was there.
You activated my trip card.
And it did a lot of damage to them because they did not pass their deck save.
Metagaming is such a hard thing to get around.
Yeah, so when I run Rick and Morty, I'm not going to do the story time on the podcast for this second Rick and Morty session because it's just metagame bull. But I'm going to run it with just you guys, I think, because he's already run it twice. So I'm going to run it with just you guys if you're interested. And then we can
I've
do
never watched
your
Rick
story.
and Morty. But
That's why it's going to be funny.
You're not a huge Rick and Morty fan. You've
I'm
seen
not.
like a little like clips here and there.
I also wrote a homebrew quest based on the episode where they have to go get treasure from the giants. So that'll make it
Oh.
impossible for her to metagame through it because she hasn't seen the show.
That's true.
I mean, yeah.
I can resist metagaming.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that, actually.
Well, yeah, the first half of that quest is the same as the episode, and the second half is completely different. It's just, yeah.
Wait, did this episode just turn into a D&D podcast?
Oh gosh, it's
No!
taking over!
What's happening? Oh, God! Moral of the story is, the Chrono Clash system is one of the best trading card systems out there.
More
Yes.
things should adopt it. It
Yes.
seems like it would fit any kind of like fandom, show, universe, anything.
Yeah, it looks like they're literally just taking franchises and making the cards art for the system and then not changing the rules any. So if they made like an Ultraman one or like a...
Oh, don't tease me like that.
or
I
a,
love to Ultraman.
What if
Or-
they made a D&D one?
if they made just like a high fantasy one, I wouldn't buy it, but I'd play it.
Right.
Yeah.
How about a little Power Rangers Chrono Clash?
It would be Super Sentai Chrono Clash, technically.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, I am a weeb.
It took you the whole podcast to figure this out.
It would be licensed as Power Rangers here, but it would be Super Sentai. There'd probably be cards for Rangers like that the West has never seen because we didn't get them.
This is actually just a secret intervention to so Hunt realizes he's a weeb.
This is my tokusatsu intervention. Just knowing that word makes me a weeb.
I don't know that word, and I'm a self-proclaimed weeb.
It basically just means special effects heavy in live action.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's less weeby and more like film production.
Which is what Godzilla is, which is what Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, all that.
Lots of pyrotechnics, suits,
Yeah.
physical performance.
It's kind of basically just the Japanese word for suitmation, basically.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
really cool, actually.
You're welcome.
I like this game, though. And even though I don't know a lot of Godzilla stuff, I still enjoy it.
You guys were really loving my lore lessons, which really made me feel
I
good.
mean, we are history nuts, so.
Yeah. I can't... Oh, yeah. One of our upcoming games is going to be Call of Cthulhu. And I just want to say I'm not sure I, a science major, is excited to run a 1920s campaign as the GM for 3 people with history degrees. Because if I screw anything up, I'm going to get laughed at.
My specific time period is a few centuries earlier than the 1920s. I think you're safe from
Yeah.
me.
But yeah, we have lots of cool upcoming games. We're learning Call of Cthulhu 7th edition right now, which is like D&D but Lovecraft.
Yeah.
We're going to start learning HeroClix 2017 finally.
Yes.
Or should I say
Thinking about-
Karen's going to learn HeroClix
I'm going to learn it
2017.
so that we can.
What about me?
play. Well, I mean, you can too, but I feel like, you learned, the Chrono Clash system, so I'll learn the HeroClix system.
I paid for it. You learn it.
Everybody
And then-
profits.
And then you can just use my miniatures and you never have to... You never have to spend a cent on it because it's an expensive game.
Deal.
I feel like if anybody, I feel like I should be the one learning these rules again because this is all my favorite stuff here.
Yeah, most of my miniatures are from Batman the Animated
Yeah,
Series.
so I'm a huge DC fanboy.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that down the road. That's just kind of a preview of some things we want to play. There are other games we want to invest in. I want to get the Doom tabletop game. You guys want to get the Dark Souls tabletop game.
Dark Souls!
No, we might have to hold off on that one. It's a little expensive, and I didn't realize how expensive it was. A little expensive.
What, like $90, right?
Yeah, that's if you get it through Amazon and not through a game store. But I was going to get it through a game store because support your local comic shop.
Mm-hmm.
Faux show, yo.
We should also see if there's like a Waterdeep tabletop kind of board.
Waterdeep! Waterdeep! I think there is, actually. Like,
Stop.
there are board games for specific adventures, so there might actually be one.
Stop.
And I would play it faux show, yo.
I would too.
We're just making fun of Big Boy Chungus because he's a big Waterdeep fan.
Big water. Deep
Sorry,
fan.
Big Boy. I know you're listening. I'm sorry.
We tease with love.
We tease him with love.
Mm,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm so glad this isn't a video podcast.
Me too. That would get you banned.
Yeah, that'd be like, I have to put explicit on it now. But
Don't
yeah,
worry, listeners. You're good. No worries.
that is it for the Godzilla card game GZ01 from the Chrono Clash system and Bandai.
Ew.
So, I think we've all given our final thoughts.
Sorry for being a little harem-scarum with the thought process there.
We're jumping around. I'm literally off my meds, so I am wild.
I'm
Give
almost
it
tired.
a score of like 1 to 10 or 0
1
to
to
10.
10. That's for hacks. 0 to 10.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it a 10.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely my favorite trading card system I've run into.
Like,
Absolutely.
I know I have a
best.
Godzilla bias, but if you guys also agree it's a 10, I am vindicated.
I just love that it would fit any kind of universe, any kind of property.
And
You
it's-
could stick anything on it.
Yeah. It's super user friendly too, where it's not like, hold on, let me get out like this huge rule book with all this crazy. It's once you get it, and I was a little intimidated because there was a lot of rules at first, but then it was like, oh, okay, I get it.
The other
It's not even that many rules
It's
if you
just a
think
lot
about
of the
it.
pictures and like they
Yeah,
have
the
different
symbols.
numbers and stuff. Yeah.
But even more exciting to me is the fact that we have the English version, but if we started getting Japanese cards, we could still play the game just perfectly fine. We wouldn't know what the name of the card is necessarily, but we would know exactly how it functioned in game.
As
Yeah.
long as the numbers are like Arabic or whatever,
They are.
and on the Japanese cards, which they probably are.
They are. The symbols are the same too. I checked.
Did you
Oh,
check?
I checked. I was curious.
He's
Weeb
excited.
trash.
Exactly.
But yeah, I would be down to get those cards because they have nicer foil stuff and like gold cards that we don't get.
But that makes it so much more interesting to me that you could get cards like that and not have to worry as much about the language, and you could still play with a mix of Japanese and English cards.
Yeah, that's why I was saying this is definitely built to be an international game because it has several sets of rules that don't need to be in here that are in here in other languages. And that's just cheaper.
Yeah.
It's just cheaper to print up all the rules and put them in each one than it is to sort everything, and it's
Yeah.
easier for everybody.
Yeah, supply lines.
Yeah,
But it's just so cool.
It is
I
really
love
good.
it.
this is a grand game, and I will be playing it till I die in a few weeks.
No. You got to make it longer than that. You got to graduate first. Then you can die.
And we gotta play like HeroClix
Oh yeah, we gotta play
Yeah.
here, and we gotta play Call
Call
of
of
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
and a bunch of other games.
And we gotta finish your 1 to 20 campaign.
That's gonna take forever.
Years.
Forever.
Good. I want it to take years. I want Kabuto to last that long.
I hope Kabuto does as well.
Yeah.
But let's not let D&D take over again.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just so fun.
And all-consuming.
I know. But that's it, everyone. Thank you all very much for your support. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. If you want to support the show, check out all the links in the description. We got social media. We got places you can donate, like a Patreon.
Check out the merch, too.
Buy that merch. Buy that merch.
No.
Buy that.
No.
What? You don't like Logan Paul?
I don't know who that is.
I'm just kidding. That was Jake Paul.
I tell you what, if you don't want to buy that merch, go buy Godzilla card game and
Yes.
support it, being a big thing in the US because I
Yeah.
want more of this.
This was 100% worth $50 in
Oh my
every way.
Gosh, yes.
$50 wouldn't even have got
Just the art.
if it was individual boosters and stuff. $50 wouldn't have gotten us this much stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a better deal than if they would have been single trading card packs.
Far and away. Plus, you get the mats, the rule books, every other thing.
That's really cool.
Go buy it.
Yeah.
Support the franchise.
This
But
is-
anyways.
Please have them bring more stuff to the US.
This is an incredible game, and if you don't want the Godzilla one, you can get the Boruto one or whatever.
We
I
won't
don't
judge
know.
you.
I mean,
much.
it's a bad choice, yeah.
but
We need to end the podcast.
We need to end
You guys are being
We've
so
rambled a
mean.
lot. We're having too much fun. We're
That's
having too
true.
much
That's
fun.
what it is.
it's been a good day.
No.
Okay, well, that's it. And we'll see you all next time when fate knocks at your door.